Hi, folks. Glade Riven here. Long time no see. On Second Pulsar. Working on a few things. Otherwise, some other reasons. Been the whole open game license debacle thing was crazy. And I prefer to keep this channel positive and didn't want to make a bunch of videos that were already being made by everybody else on it. I had nothing really to directly add to the conversation on that. But this video is going to be a short one. Just want to talk about my reasons for why I plan on going to see the the Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves, despite the OGL debacle. Number one is we only won the first round in the OGL open game license fight because of that movie. If that movie wasn't coming out when it was, Wizards of the Coast would have been able to wait it out. And until the internet died down and not be stuck in full panic mode. That movie financially means a lot to Hasbro. Number two is that I do not want to punish the people who worked on that. The Entertainment One division, or whatever the studio's name is, has nothing to do with Wizards of the Coast. Other than some of the market team tells Wizards what to do, not the other way around. And they have no interest in, and the marketing department has no interest in really controlling the game, but it comes down to their marketing department tells Wizards of the Coast what to do, not the opposite. It's not set up like Disney, where Star Wars is handled through Lucasfilm. Everything is handled through Lucasfilm at Disney, from the toy lines to the TV shows to the movies, etc., etc. Wizards of the Coast, as from what I've seen, only manages the Dungeons and Dragons game and assorted and some merchandising. I'm sure they have some merchandising discretion beyond that. But when it comes to this movie, they don't. It's pretty obvious from the news circulating on the web. Those executives do not have control of. It's like they don't have the control over that. There's nobody there's no Kathleen Kennedy over at Wizards of the Coast telling them what they can and can't make for movie shows and TV shows and etc. It's a completely different corporate setup. Number 3, I heard this mentioned, I think, mentioned on Roll for Combat on one of his streams, that if there is no Dungeons and Dragons movie success, there's no Pathfinder movie. And that means there wouldn't be any Iron Kingdoms movie. There wouldn't be. Hollywood will not look in the direction of the tabletop gaming for inspiration for IPs. They will not be contacting IPs. Warhammer is lucky at the moment that they exist. Well, Games Workshop is to miniature gaming as Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast is to role-playing games. So they're at the top of their industry by wide margins. These are small pond. Both industries are small ponds with one very, very big fish. And the pond only grows when the big fish grows. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So when we get new stuff in, if you ever want to see Pathfinder on the big screen, if you ever want to see Iron Kingdoms on the screen, you ever want to see that new Shadow Dark RPG that just hit $1 million on Kickstarter, that's insane, for out of nowhere. But yeah, I admit I backed it. if you ever want to see anything like that show up in movies and television, etc., the Dungeons & Dragons movie will need to succeed. Number 4. There we go. Number 4. From what I've heard, it's actually a good movie. It's crazy, but I've actually heard that they made a pretty good movie. And heck, I want to see it. And I've been hearing that there have been people having trouble getting tickets to this movie. So I think this is going to be one. And the 5th reason, I wish I had a webcam with a little bit different focusing lens that I could position further away. There we go, 5. The 5th reason is... Oh, geez, I was going with it somewhere with this. Well, anyways, it's just like, oh yeah, 5th reason. The 5th reason, before I got caught up with waving fingers, hi. The 5th reason is that if the movie fails, Wizards of the Coast will blame any failure going forward on the failure of that movie. Anybody who fails running Wizards of the Coast with D&D, with Dungeons and Dragons, will say it's just like, well, the brand isn't as strong as we thought. It's just, unfortunately, we can't make... We thought we could make money off this. It's not as strong as we thought it was. We thought it was a lot stronger of a brand. We could do more with it, and it's just what it is. But if the movie succeeds, and if Wizards of the Coast cannot monetize it, or ends up under-monetizing it, versus estimates, and then when it comes to finances, it's just like, it's not even necessarily a case of doing well. It's also a case of not doing as well as expected. If they cannot make money off of the success of the movie, they can't make money. And if they can't get money, they're gone. And if Wizards of the Coast ultimately fails with Dungeons and Dragons, and yes, I do want them to be knocked down a peg or two. I actually don't really care at this point if 6th edition is under open game license or not, because at this current point, everything that I'm invested in is not Dungeons and Dragons. And there's some fun stuff that's going to be coming out under the 5th. That's the thing. The third parties are not going to move quickly to 6th edition if there's no open game license. And if there's no open game license to 6th edition and it's fully compatible with 5th edition as they claim it will be, which I don't believe, but if it is, it's just like they can still make stuff under 5th edition. And now that's under Creative Commons and not Creative Commons, and the original open game license is not being revoked, they can keep that running forever. And think of it this way. Somebody sees the movie, walks out the movie, it's like, that's a great movie. Just like, I've never tried playing the game. They look up on Google, and they're like, what's this what's this open game license bull? That there's article after article after articles written. What's going on with that? And they start, they glance through a couple of articles and like, bleh. Maybe they might be like, maybe I don't want to play the game. Maybe I don't want to download the latest app that they're wanting. Maybe I just want to enjoy the movie. Maybe I'll just enjoy the movie. Maybe I'll go buy the movie on stream. Maybe I'll get the Blu-ray, or the 4K when it comes out, because because they knocked it out of the park. But I won't buy the game. And if the movie succeeds, but the game fails, but Wizards fails, they can't pin that on the movie. They can't go and blame the failure of the movie. Then the financial questions come. It's just like, well, obviously this brand is strong enough to sell this movie and make money off this movie. If you can't make money off of it, you can't make money. And if that person can't, that means that person's gone. Long term, worst case scenario, I don't want Wizards to collapse. I do want them to maybe restructure a little to clean up some of the executive bloat. But that'll likely happen anyways. It's the current financial trend. People bring up the woke stuff, and well, let's just say that they're not going to get rid of it because they're as deep into the ESG stuff as Disney is. They work hard to get that high ESG rating, but just remember, the diversity and inclusion hires are the first out this door when the restructuring comes, because they keep the people. If the money runs out, they don't get rid of the people that are actually doing stuff. They get rid of the people that are preventing stuff from getting done, and they'll find a way. And if you don't believe me on that, look at what happened to Victoria Alonso over at Marvel last week. I mean, sure, there's lawsuits and whatnot, but it's just like, it's like, it's like you can be woke, you can put whatever message you want, but if the product, don't make sure that you don't make sure that the product doesn't suck. Make sure the thing sells. If you can't make money, you're out. And when the way things are going financially, there's going to be a lot of people out. Anyway, it's going to sign off here. Good luck. It's like, and if you don't want to see it, that's the movie to punish. Hasbro. That's fine. Go ahead. Don't, it's like, yeah, I'm not. It's like, look, you do what your convictions tell you to do, and because, quite frankly, in the end, it's just like when it comes down to it, it's just play the game that you want to play and support the products that you want to support and the companies that you want to support. And it's not my job to tell you what to do. I ain't your boss. Signing off.